lifelong best friends. Take turns picking topics, then they see where it ends. So wild, it's weird, and sometimes specific. Whatever it is, you know it will be terrific. It's hyperfixation time.
Welcome back to Hyperfixation Time. I'm Danny.
And I'm Erin.
And today it's Erin's turn to take us down a rabbit hole that she has not stopped thinking about. I don't know what it's going to be. She said last week that it had something to do with something medical. So we'll see what that is. But before we get into that, we're going to quickly catch up and inform each other about whatever our microfixations are. Anything you wanted to talk about today?
I think we just wanted to bring up our Buy Us a Coffee link.
Ooh, yes.
So you'll find that in our show notes and whatnot. Obviously, no expectations, but just, you know, we are coffee addicts. So if you feel like fueling our addiction,
Yes.
we will definitely put that to good use.
Or boba tea or, you know.
Or boba tea. Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Exactly. So you'll find that link there. Do you have a microfixation of the week?
So mine, I have like two quick ones, hopefully, because they both have to do with previous microfixations that you mentioned.
Okay.
So one is I did listen to all of that podcast, Beth's Dead.
Oh, you did? What do you think?
It was very interesting, like very interesting story. I feel like personally they probably could have made it in like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Instead of 10.
Yeah.
Particularly like in the middle, it kind of dragged out. Like I was like, okay, like you've read a lot of emails and conversations that you've had. We probably could have summarized that a little bit, but
probably, yeah.
But it was very interesting and I think worth the listen. I'm very curious. And just a recap for anybody listening, I guess, Beth's Dead is a podcast, like a short 10 episode series. One of the hosts is Monica Padman from Armchair Expert. And it's kind of like true crime vibes, I would say, like a documentary style about a situation that happened.
You said you have another one?
Sorry, yeah. So the other one was Stranger Things. We finished Stranger Things finally.
What'd you think?
I was bawling, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was crying.
The ending. I know, me too. Me too.
And so, yeah, no spoilers for anybody that hasn't watched it yet, but it was so good. And I actually had heard that some people didn't like it, which, I mean, people are going to have different opinions, but...
Right. Yeah, I heard a lot of backlash about it, which I don't know. I didn't necessarily get. I liked it. I thought it was really
Dwight
good.
and I both really enjoyed it a lot. And
good.
Yeah, I was just feeling like emotional at the end. Like, this is such a big chapter. Yeah. And like, it was crazy. They showed, you know, a lot of clips from like season 1, season 2. And I was like, they were literal children. Like, I knew that.
Little.
But it was still shocking to see how little they were, you know?
Yes. I totally get what you mean. You don't realize it when it's like that far in between each season, but then it's like, holy crap, they really were like
babies.
8 years old, probably.
Right.
When they started, and now they're like in their 20s. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just like my...
No, I think it is like something like that, you know?
Something like that, yeah.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I felt very emotional, and it was a good time.
Good.
What's your microfixation?
Well, I actually started I Who Have Never Known Men.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Wow, this is so crazy.
I know. I listened to about 2.5 hours today while I was doing chores and whatnot. Very intrigued.
Yeah.
It's getting interesting. I mean, it has been interesting, but I started that. So that's been I'll let you know how I think as I keep going.
Okay.
Or what I think about.
That's so funny that we both were like, let's report on things that you mentioned previously.
I know. All right. Well, any guesses?
All right. Well, you said medical. So I do have 2 guesses.
Okay.
One guess is PCOS.
Okay.
Guess 2
Why is that?
Well, I don't know. Just I'm just taking a gander over here.
Yeah, gander. Because I have PCOS. That's why. Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Which I think you've said on the pod. Maybe you haven't.
If not,
so sorry
it's just a part of me.
Okay.
No, not at all. Yeah. More awareness needs to happen anyway.
Second guess was that you're going to tell me what's going on with your eye.
Oh, okay. Those are good guesses.
Okay.
I do not have an update on my eye. I am going in April, so that's a while out yet. PCOS is a really good guess as well. Yeah, that's something that I have been battling for a while, and there's a lot to it. And I do want to at some point get a little bit more into it. Yeah, it's not either of those. Good guesses though. Like I said, I think, let me just pull up my information here. One sec. It might take a second.
What are you up to? I feel like you're so up to something.
I might be.
Ooh, are we phoning someone in? Hi.
Hello. We are phoning someone in.
How exciting.
This is my sister, Katie. And she is a doctor of nurse. What do you say? Nurse practitioner?
Doctor of nursing.
Nursing. Okay, there you go. Dr. Katie, you can call her. She's my sister. And the topic I really wanted to talk about today, she's an expert in. So I figured it would be helpful to have her to tell us a little bit more about it. And also, then I didn't have to research things this week.
Oh, that's fun.
Self-serving. I love it.
Yes, exactly. But we're happy to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
First guest. So exciting.
First guest. Woo-hoo. Yes. I decided to switch things up.
Surprise. Danny, I was telling Erin that some of my like earliest memories of you as, sort of part of our family, an extra sister was, you probably don't remember this, but I learned how to French braid on your hair because you had like the best, like thickest, you had such long hair.
Yeah, my hair like went down to my butt for any listener.
Yeah.
It did. And there would be times when like you would come over and your sister would have already braided your hair and it'd be, oh God, I really wanted to do it because it was so good.
That's so funny.
I know.
No, actually you definitely did my hair for my third grade school picture. I requested Leia buns. And so you like did 2 pigtail braids, and then how do you do a Leia bun? We don't know. So then you like spiraled them like this. And so I had 2 braids like this for my third grade picture, which like
awesome.
Cool. And my parents said they were just like, yeah, okay, go to school.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good. I love it.
I feel like I remember that too, seeing that. Well, Katie, do you want to introduce our topic for today?
Oh, sure. Did you tell her at all what it was?
I just told her it's something medical. That's all she knows right now.
Okay, so yes, I am, like Erin said, I'm a nurse practitioner, family practice board certified, but I've been in the neurology arena for pretty much my entire practice. And specifically, one of the flavors of neurology that I practice the most with is patients who have POTS.
Oh,
and I don't know if you've heard of that before, but
I have.
You have.
But I don't know that much about it. I thought you said that maybe you have that too, but
yes.
I couldn't remember for sure.
Okay. I was trying to think if I had told you, but yes, that is something that I have. Katie, you have?
It is ripe in our family, I will say. Even before, I sort of learned how to treat it and diagnose it and all of that stuff too. So it's sort of known as the most common disorder you've never heard of. Because it affects like up to 1% or so is what they say of people who have POTS or some kind of neurologic dysautonomia. It's the kind of bigger word for the type of condition it is. And it's primarily females that develop that. And it tends to, have genetic comorbid things. And our family has quite a bit of that. So so a couple of the sisters have been diagnosed and treated, and Erin's drinking her water like a good little POTS patient.
With my electrolytes in it.
Yeah, with your electrolytes, exactly, at a girl. That's smart. Yeah, so I practice and I've been seeing patients with this for almost a decade. So I'm happy to go over anything, any questions or anything, or just give you a little rundown on what it is.
What does it stand for?
So it stands for Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia Syndrome. And most people just know it as POTS. But anytime disorder has the word syndrome in it, it means that it's like a collection of symptoms. So meaning that like there's lots of different parts of it that can manifest physically in patients. So so postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or POTS, is part of this umbrella of neurologic disorders that we call dysautonomias. And that's basically just a big fancy word for saying, you know, some part of your autonomic nervous system doesn't work the way it should. And for those who don't know what the autonomic nervous system is, it's extremely complicated but fascinating part of your neurologic makeup, and it controls everything you don't have to think about. So everything from your blood pressure, heart rate, sweat function, saliva, tear function, bowel function, bladder function, all of that stuff that like is supposed to just happen naturally. There's a disruption somewhere in that. So POTS is one of those types of dysautonomias.
I didn't know that actually, that it was like the, I mean, I've heard dysautonomia, but I didn't know that that was, I guess I didn't put it together. That yeah, like your like normal functions. Okay.
Yeah, there's lots of different types out there, and there's lots of different ways that we diagnose it, and we see it as a comorbid. We see people who develop autonomic disorders or dysautonomias with other like chronic diseases, Parkinson's, MS, stuff like that, that kind of comes secondary to that. But POTS is like probably the version of it that most people have heard about and or have seen it, you know, all over the socials because it's all over there.
I feel like in the last like what 5-ish years, it's become more well known. Would you say? Or
Totally. Yeah, that's one of the silver linings of COVID and the pandemic is that it sort of raised awareness to POTS because unfortunately it's really common manifestation of long COVID, right? Or the ongoing symptoms of people who had COVID. But it definitely existed before that. It definitely is like under recognized, and there's a lot of misinformation out there about it. But it's a fascinating disorder, and once you find somebody who knows about it and is willing to sort of go on the journey of living with it with you, the outcomes and the prognosis for patients is really, really great. So,
and that's what you do is
yes. It's not an easy disorder to live with.
Right.
That's not at all what I'm saying. But with the right interventions that I help with and sort of tailor to each patient, we can at least hopefully get them feeling and kind of operating as best we can.
What happened? Like, I guess if you can break down what POTS is, like how does it manifest in people? I know you said that it's like a variety, and that's totally fair, but like what are some of the main things for that?
Yeah, okay. So the criteria, if you will, the diagnostic criteria and how POTS is characterized is that it has a heart rate increase upon standing, significant heart rate increase with on standing, and the number of 30 or 40 beats varies depending on your age, but adults, it's 30 beats or more, that your heart rate increases just by standing. There's nuances where like blood pressure can't drop, but or your heart rate can get to a certain max and sustain at that point, but it's got to be happening within the first 10 minutes of standing. So that's sort of the like textbook definition, is that you have heart rate increment of 30 beats or more upon standing without blood pressure drop, along with symptoms of intolerance. So people don't feel good when they stand up, right? It's sort of like standing up is exercise for you, right? You get your heart rate up pretty quickly and sort of without warning. So there's definitely like specific diagnostic criteria that people have to meet. And once we have a simple sort of set of blood pressure, heart rate, vital sign measurements in clinic, we can give the diagnosis of POTS. And then I try to sort of break it down and figure out what kind of POTS it is. There's 3 different types of POTS, which is interesting. And
yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, there's a little bit different mechanism for each one, but sometimes we can figure out, sometimes people vacillate, sort of between the like low blood volume because they're dehydrated. Some people have a neuropathy or damage to those nerves from like a secondary cause, like an autoimmune disease or a genetic connective tissue disorder.
Is POTS considered an autoimmune disease? Oh, okay. Well, I've been saying that wrong. Okay.
No,
it's dysautonomia, but not autoimmune. Okay.
Yeah, but because the auto like part of that word is the autonomic nervous system.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And my question was like, so you're talking about diagnosing it. It sounded like a fairly simple diagnosis, but like from what I've seen, like you said on the internet, it always sounds like POTS is really hard to diagnose, but like what you just said sounded so easy. So like, is it that easy or is it like a lot harder? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. That's why it's not diagnosed very well, because there are elaborate tests. There are, sort of gold standard is by putting patients on what we call a tilt table, and tilting them up to 70 degrees and measuring their blood pressure and heart rate. But really, you can do simple measurements in the office. Even your primary care provider can do that. It gets sort of like sticky though, because it's got to come with like certain symptoms of intolerance. You got to have like, more than just your heart rate increase. And then it's got to sort of persist for a long time. So one example we always tell patients is that like most of the astronauts, when they come back to Earth, meet the criteria for POTS if we were to do the blood pressure and heart rate in the office. But it's because they're deconditioned, right? They're kind of coming back down to the forces of gravity. And so it's not an expensive way to diagnose, you can, it's not like expensive MRIs and all of this stuff. It's not that hard, but people are intimidated by it, especially healthcare providers.
Okay.
Intimidated.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Good question. I know. Yeah. So it's female predominant, like 80%.
Wow.
I know.
You might get to this at some point, but is there any correlation between this and like migraines?
Yeah.
Or are they different things? Asking for a friend.
That's a big question.
I know. When we started the episode, I was like, is Katie going to tell me all about my migraines today?
Yeah, I can do that too, because migraines are very commonly seen in patients who also have POTS.
Makes sense.
But technically, they're they're their own set of neurologic disorders. But yeah, so some of the like common symptoms and like struggles that people have with it, other than just the heart rate increases, they feel like they could pass out, or they feel, sort of woozy, lightheaded when they stand up. Fatigue is a huge part of, it's probably the number one complaint I get from my POTS patients is this profound fatigue. Brain fog, there's some body pains that come with it. There can be nausea, there can be kind of slow GI motility that comes with it. So when I have a new POTS patient, my approach is always like, let's go head to toe. And I want to hear what you're all feeling and see if I can sort of suss out what is potentially the cause of this, or like what can I do to help your quality of life and your symptoms get a little bit better.
So when people come to you, do they like already kind of feel like they already have pre-diagnosed themselves with POTS, and then you're just kind of confirming, or is it like, here's my symptoms and then you tell them what's going on?
Yeah. That's a good question. By the time patients get to me, it's pretty much that we know that they've had it, because I never can find this exact statistic, so don't like look it up. But when I first started, my mentor, and this is mostly just for kind of dramatic effect, but if you listen to anecdotally patients, this is a true reality, is it takes 7 years and 12 different clinicians to get the right diagnosis. So most patients, by the time they get to me, they've already been told you have anxiety, like you're just deconditioned, you're overweight, this, that, other thing, and not really like put it all together and sort of do that simple test. So yes, people come to me and they're like, I'm pretty sure I have POTS. And we sit, we chat, we do the blood pressure, heart rate measurements. If they meet the criteria in the office and I have really high suspicion, we go right into it. We go into, okay, this is it. Let's like wrap this all up in a bow and tell you how to live with it. Some patients, it's not that easy. Like if they don't meet that very specific criteria with the heart rate, then I have to do a little bit more digging to rule out, like, is this a hormonal thing? Like, are they, is their thyroid out of whack? Is it something else that can kind of like mimic these symptoms?
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I like to really say is that a lot of my patients come in and say, oh, I pass out. That means I have POTS.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really common misconception in that actually in POTS, it's near passing out. That is important to distinguish. Their complete loss of consciousness is not part of the disorder that we see. That wouldn't be like my clue that like I got to rule out some other stuff that could actually cause complete loss of consciousness. That's what a lot of people say. I think they see a lot of that on social media and they say I pass out.
That makes sense.
That means I have POTS. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask too. So like, is this literally every single time the person stands up, then they like feel that way, or is it just kind of like a most of the time, 25% of the time? Like, what is it?
Yeah, good question. It's hard to know exactly because no one's wearing a heart monitor all the time. But if they're not well treated, right? If they are not diagnosed and aren't doing all the other measures to help improve it, it will be almost all the time that they feel that. Worse, mornings are really, really hard for patients. It can take a lot even to just get them out of bed. But, as the day sort of trickles on and you get water and salt and you do your other treatments, then they might not actually have that sustained heart rate increase with standing. But yeah, it's pretty persistent.
I was going to ask, because you said both of you ladies have it. Yeah. So like how do you guys feel upon standing? Like, I don't know. It's just, I'm sorry to hear that you guys feel that way,
Oh, thanks.
or go through that.
Go ahead, Erin.
I mean, for me, I can just tell when I got up too fast.
Yeah.
Like, and that's most of the time. And it just gets like a moment of, okay, I need to like stabilize myself for a minute and then I'll be okay after that. That happens probably a couple times a day, I would say. And to her point about like hydration and salt, that's what I try to keep up with. And we'll talk, I'm sure, a bit more about that. But my heart rate also is just, it's always just like higher than like PJ's. Like I'll compare it. I'm just like, yeah, we just did the exact same thing. And, we're generally healthy, but my heart rate is like 20 beats per minute higher than yours doing this exercise or something like that. 20 to 30, honestly. But standing up, yeah, it happens quite a bit. It's
Yeah, the thing is that like most people that have it have had it for a while and now they're used to it, so they don't sort of complain about it. In my case, I first started showing symptoms in like my early 20s, like 2021, and I mean now I know how to treat myself, and so I just like do all of my interventions so that I really don't have symptoms most days. If I'm sick, if I did a hard workout, if I, whatever comes about, then I will have some more symptoms. And yeah, like she said, it's sort of just, you don't feel good when you stand up. It can be nausea, it can be lightheadedness, it can be like sweating. Some people, it causes them to like overheat and have that like temperature intolerance is a big problem with it too. It can be real debilitating for people. But the good news I tell patients is that like, this is not a fatal disorder. This is not going to shorten your lifespan. It's not going to make your heart weak. Like you don't die from POTS. The sort of gold standard treatment is really not medications. Absolutely, some patients we have to use multiple or single or trial and error medications, but most patients, if we can start them off on the what we call home care measures or non-pharmacologic intervention, non-drug measures, even that makes a big difference in how they feel. So the first visit is always like a big teaching one, right? It's very much like explaining, giving them the tools. I call it the tools, and put them in their toolbox so that they can go home and implement these things. And yeah, so it's like water, right? Sounds simple, but like dehydration or lower blood volume or hypovolemia, as we call it, that, like I said, alone can be the cause for patients to have POTS. So yeah, it's drinking like 100 ounces of water a day is sort of the bare minimum. Our like math that we usually tell patients is that you take your weight in kilograms and multiply it by 2. And that's how many ounces of water you need minimum.
Gotcha.
I need to do better.
Which, like, I know that sounds easy for, like, it sounds like I just have to drink water, but that's a lot of water because that comes with more, like, going to the bathroom, and a lot of people have nausea with it, and so that can be hard for them to maintain that. But that's where we use things like salt supplementation. Salt is, sort of in the American diet pretty excessive already, but people with POTS need more salt.
I think that's why Erin likes salty snacks so much.
That will do it. Yeah, I mean, like pickle juice shots are like a real thing in the POTS community. They're like, let me just do a shot of pickle juice, or I know.
I love pickles.
So yummy, right? The general guidelines for how much salt to get is somewhere between 4 and 8 grams, so 4,000 or 8,000 milligrams a day of salt. Again, like sounds easy, but realistically, like again, that can come with bloating. That can come with people feeling like extra swollen in their limbs and stuff. So you have to do it, but the reality is a lot of times that's not enough for patients.
So why salt? Like, what does that do for POTS?
So salt keeps basically all the water you drink in your blood.
Oh.
It basically just like, it takes all the water that you have, that you drink, and it keeps it in your blood volume, and it increases that. So, right, like that's why it can cause high blood pressure for patients, for people that have excessive salt, because it's like you're increasing that blood volume too much, and there's a whole physiologic change that happens. But again, like one of the versions of POTS is hypovolemia, low blood volume, and so salt increases that.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I never knew. I just like, okay, I'm going to take my element in my water every day multiple times.
I know.
Yeah.
You guys are making me thirsty.
I know. Way to go. You have your Owalas and Stanleys or Yetis. That's important. Yeah. So fluid salt, important for POTS. Third intervention is compression, specifically abdominal compression. You don't do that, Erin? Come on, you're making me look bad.
I know. No, it's not your fault. It's me. I'm sure you've told me.
Yeah. Compression, again, like because when we stand up and the heart rate goes up, you have a shift of blood that basically like kind of pools, and where it pools is in the vessels of your abdomen, specifically the splanchnic vessels. So compression on the abdomen literally just like pushes it back up. And that's
how do you do that?
Yeah. So honestly, the easiest thing is like shapewear. So my teenage patients love to be like, that means I can get Skims or whatever, like compression tanks, or Lululemon or whatever, like all those fancy compression leggings they like. But yeah, that's literally it. So you can do garments like that. You can get abdominal binder or a waist trainer, it's called. A little bit of, I don't know, pressure right here.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay.
Corset.
I'd also like the corset. Don't compression socks, do those help too?
Yeah, I mean,
not?
Those help with just like circulation in general. And if you can tolerate, they'll help. to an extent. They won't be as like dramatic game changer, usually symptoms for patients. But yeah, like in the long run, and if you can tolerate that day to day, that'll be good. That'll help with your symptoms.
Okay.
So how does compression socks help with it? If it's like, because your explanation of like the abdomen made
Pooling.
sense. Yeah.
It's the same thing, right? Because blood like sort of pools down in the extremities. Then there's like some like triggering of the nerves in the lower extremities to make the blood flow go as well. It is fluid salt compression are, the easiest, if you will, things for people. And it's really just like, it's fighting gravity. The fourth one, and this is the hardest one to sell, the fourth intervention is exercise. It's not an easy thing to do with POTS because you already have a high heart rate, but there are lots of protocols out there. There are lots of ways to modify how you exercise to make it more tolerable for you. Pool is great. The pool is, again, like even that little bit of pressure on the abdomen from the water and the swimsuit, can help symptoms.
I had to, when I was taking classes at the gym, I learned pretty quickly that burpees are not my thing. I can't do it because you're up and down so fast. And that's like, main part of POTS as well as like getting up too fast and whatnot, I think too. So I had to modify that. And I think cardio in general is hard for me. And I don't know if that's normal or if that's like, is it good for people that have POTS to do extensive cardio?
Under supervision, is it safe? Yes. Okay. I would say it's safe. Could they be pretty symptomatic afterwards? Totally. So following the protocols and do slow, gradual, work your way up to doing, kind of heavier cardiovascular exercises, you can get there. But if you're brand new POTSy and I say go exercise, like, no, I'm not saying you're going to go run on the treadmill for 30 minutes. Like, you will crash. And crash is the word that they use, where it's like it overexerts them too much and then they'll be like sleepy and tired for 3 or 4 days afterwards. So I prefer to utilize like other specialties to help teach patients how to do that. But anything that's like core, lower body strengthening, along with gradual increase in cardiovascular, exercise like that.
Maybe like yoga, like we mentioned last week.
I was just going to say the episode before this is about yoga, which we both really like. And I think it is that it doesn't, it's still, it's like a workout, for sure. But you don't get like overly high heart rate, sweaty necessarily. I think that at least for me, it fits a lot better for my lifestyle.
Yeah, totally. Yoga can be triggering for some patients because with downward dog and stuff, like it can be the up and down. But a lot of it is on the floor, right? All of it's on the floor, but like some of it is what we call supine, or like laying on your back. And that's really tough. Honestly, floor Pilates, reformer Pilates, those are great.
You do Pilates, don't you?
Yeah, it's definitely a important thing because there's also a lot of breath control, and there's a whole science of the vagus nerve and how our breathing and diaphragmatic breathing contribute to POTS and symptoms and whatnot. So how we breathe during exercise, even day to day, will help symptoms as well. So fluid salt, exercise, compression.
Those are the big ones.
Those are the big ones that people need to sort of have in their repertoire. Sort of the POTS 101 like stuff.
That needs to be the norm for people that have it. Okay.
Yeah. But then comes me, right? And that's like primary care providers can learn sort of the basics for patients with POTS and start that. And but then like clinicians need to sometimes help with medications. So the reality is, for a lot of people, they also need some pharmacologic help too.
Like what? Or
Yeah, so it kind of depends on the type of POTS you have. I like to do that. So there's medications out there that help, similar to salt, like help retain the fluid in your blood and in your vasculature. There are some that actually slow down the heart rate. Beta blockers are a big one that we use.
Like propranolol, is that a? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I have that.
I also took that for migraines before.
Yeah.
It didn't help me, but I'm familiar.
I'm always like, if I have patients who have both POTS and migraines, I'm like,
let's try this.
Maybe we can get one.
And if you have anxiety,
yep,
there you go.
Exactly.
God bless a beta blocker. Oh, that's the best. But you have to use caution, of course. Like, that's just not a generalized statement. Everyone should be on beta blockers because blood pressure stuff too. There are ones that constrict vessels too, especially patients who do also have low blood pressure when they stand up. It will like just squeeze them, so then it pushes the blood back up to the brain.
What's the name of those? Sorry. What do you call those?
Midodrine is a big one that we use. It is, it works specifically on like narrowing the blood vessels peripherally. Okay. So it works on the alpha adrenergic block receptors and it works
those
like this. Yeah, those. Yeah, exactly. Don't you know what those are? Yeah.
No, I know.
So that helps. There's a couple like off-label use of some medications out there that work on the nervous system in a complicated way that mostly are like symptomatic and like help people with the other like complications. So beta blockers, midodrine, pyridostigmine is one of those that we use. Ivabradine is another one, kind of the newer one that we're using that's really helpful, that works on like the pacemaker of the heart, so it can bring your heart rate down. There's other ones out there that are really like off-label use, and sometimes we have to use multiple, right? Depending on the patient. But the good thing is that like most of these medications are really safe to take long term. With the exception of like we need to do some electrolyte monitoring, potassium, stuff like that in some of them. But again, like they're not too intimidating, I think, of medications to use, and they help a lot. Cool. People ask me if there's a cure.
I was just gonna ask if there's ever do you ever stop having POTS?
Yeah, I was curious about that as well.
Which is the opposite. Wait, POTS and stop STOP. Okay, sorry.
It's so funny. I like it. So, okay, what I tell patients is that, yes, like you can sort of grow out of, or you can live a life that mostly doesn't meet the criteria for POTS. You can manage it with lifestyle, without medications, and you can, go on without it. And that's the goal, is that we get patients to that state, right? So that they just don't need to see me, because like, you know what to do, right? So that's where like the early intervention is key, because like I said, it's female predominant, it's women of childbearing age. Many of the cases are like after menstruation in like the teenage years. So it's like, let's see, I got a 16-year-old in my office, like, let's get the basics down, let's make sure there isn't anything we're missing, give you a treatment plan. And my hope is that like you'll be able to live the rest of your like meaningful adult life without having to, have continued follow-up. That doesn't happen all the time. I tell patients too that like you might go years without any symptoms of POTS, and then like, knock on wood, you get COVID or something like that, and then like symptoms are going to probably come back, and you'll notice them as well.
So it's COVID that, well, as an example, COVID is something that can trigger it. It's not the vaccine of like the COVID vaccine.
That is debated. No, we really can't. We don't always, know exactly what is the underlying, like what causes it. But we know that we think it is driven by an immune response. So whether you have, when you get a vaccine, your body is supposed to produce this immune response. And it's sort of like maybe attacks, maybe triggers these nerves in a certain way that we don't totally know great yet, or have perfect way to confirm that. But yeah, it can be sort of from any insult. I like to say insult. So that insult meaning like illness, right? Trauma, like physical, emotional trauma is a big one.
Oh, really?
As well. Yes, that can cause that. Autoimmune disorders, some types of bleeding disorders, connective tissue disorders are other things that are even like a sort of type of allergy response is one that we see in patients too. So yeah, it can be triggered by
a lot. Yeah.
A lot
of things.
And we don't always know. We just don't know. A lot of times my patients will say, I was fine up until blank, like up until I had mono, or I had COVID, or had some kind of physical trauma or emotional trauma or something like that.
So not to dissuade people from getting a vaccination, but just like there are multiple things that can trigger this essentially if you have it.
Yeah. And in some cases, like patients who have connective tissue disorders that are genetically linked, usually I sort of say that chances are something would have probably triggered this for you. Like if it wasn't COVID, it might have been something else. Like you have a propensity to developing this disorder.
Yeah, it would happen at some point, one way or another.
Probably.
Okay.
And what exactly was a connective tissue disorder again?
Oh, yeah. That's probably the one that is most people we identify. Well, I should say my patients is that I see a lot of patients who have connective tissue disorders. So basically what it means is that the collagen type portions of your body are genetically incorrect, right? So like hypermobility is a big one. So people who have Ehlers-Danlos,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Ehlers-Danlos.
Yep. Hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos. So it's the like your joints, your vessels, your like esophagus, sort of the like hollow parts of your body are like more stretchy than they're kind of supposed to be. So it's like it takes more effort kind of to make those things work. So there's other types out there, but that is one of the more common what we think is a likely cause for people to have POTS.
Interesting.
So connective tissue means like the hollow parts, or the like, what would you?
Yeah, well, there's different types. But the ones that I see are, yes, like anything that's hollow in your body is sort of what we say, right? So swallowing your stomach, your intestine, your blood vessels, your those types of anatomical regions. But there's joint, like joint elasticity, that kind of thing. I mean, there's connective tissue everywhere throughout your whole body.
So like, Katie, show your arm.
Oh, I don't know. Does it show?
Oh.
Yeah.
It goes out.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's so interesting.
I know, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So I can tell when people walk in, like new patients, like, you have a connective tissue disorder. I can tell, like, you probably got this.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. And actually a lot of patients with connective tissue disorders also get migraines. So it's like all together.
Dang.
Fun times.
Yes. I know.
I feel like that has to be so difficult with diagnosing stuff that, like, I don't know, just like if you have multiple things and then it's like, how do you know what symptom is for what thing? And then, I don't know. I just feel like it's complicated. It must be complicated.
It's complicated. Honestly, like the best diagnostic tool is just listening to people. I mean,
thank you for that. I love that.
Yes. Like a lot of times people need to be believed. They need to be heard. They need to not say, this is just in your head. This is, this is just attention seeking. A lot of like, when there's teens that can't get up in the morning because they're so symptomatic, they're like, well, she's just trying to get out of school. Like, you know, probably not, right, for this case. So it takes a lot of, not a lot, you just have to listen, is really a big part of it. And unfortunately, like, you know, there's a little bit of a stigma out there that patients that have POTS are difficult, that they like, you know, people are kind of intimidated by the science. So clinicians I'm talking about, are intimidated by the science. So they don't really want to learn. They're just going to say, I don't see this, that kind of thing. And my view is just, I mean, it's real medicine. It's a real thing that affects real people, and like it's sort of our duty to investigate further. And if we don't know what to do with it, that's fine. You can like ask around cardiologists, electrophysiologists, neurology. Somebody probably has at least heard of it, if you're willing to listen. But it's a head to toe disorder. I've had the fortune of like going to a lot of medical meetings and hearing experts talk about it, and it's an intimidating sort of field of medicine because the symptom range is wide, right? It's like I said, I go head to toe with patients. Tell me what you're feeling, and we have to utilize often more than one specialty. There isn't a one cure or one thing that fixes it for patients.
One size fits all. Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably a combination of a lot of different things, and it just depends person to person. Basically.
Yep. Totally. I love it though. I think it's an interesting disorder.
Agreed.
To clarify, she doesn't love that people have it.
You're right. I don't love it when people have it, but it is like super
She's interested in it.
It's interesting. It's interesting. And like we're getting a lot more, you know, research and, you know, learning more about it, and it's because it's treatable.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like in the last, how long, like, I feel like, and it's been around, but I think like it's become more of a conversation in the last like 10 years or so. Would you say?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I started this practice in 2017, working in this field. And like, I mean, I've been busy nonstop seeing patients, so it's definitely like picking up the pace. But at any given time, I mean, the wait list to see a clinician is usually really long. And like I said, there's only like 54, that number might not be right, but around the 50 something, autonomic neurologists that, you know, physicians that are trained in this type of neurology in the whole US. So there's like not a lot. There's not a lot of testing centers. Yeah. So we need to like raise awareness and spread the word.
Yeah. That's why I kind of wanted to talk about this. Yeah. I wanted to talk about this because I think that, it's important. And I don't think people are talking about it enough.
That's right. It should be part of every clinician, every like nurse, doctor, PA, their like hyperfixation some point to like spend some time and learn about this, because you will see it in your practice.
Yeah. And last question for me, at least, do you think that it hasn't been as well researched because it is mostly women? Because I think that that's something in the medical field that is a problem, that a lot of things that mostly affect women are not researched as much. Do you feel like that's
migraines?
Migraines.
Yep. I think that's a huge barrier for it. A huge barrier is that it's female predominant, childbearing age. It can mimic symptoms of anxiety, and a lot of people have that too, right? High heart rate, kind of sweating, feeling like you're going to pass out, nausea. You know, it mimics that, and both are real things. Right. And but they are different phenomenons that are happening, and people can have POTS without having anxiety. And so just, you know, treating it as if it's anxiety isn't going to be helpful.
Yeah.
Often.
Interesting. Okay.
So Females. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I believe it. That was really interesting. Thank you. I learned a lot, even though I have it. Like,
you're welcome.
There's a lot going on with this, but
yeah, it's a really fascinating, complicated science. If you really like dig into it, but it can be life-changing for people to just listen to them and help them with it. So, chances are somebody in your circle has it, right? Somebody you know has it. Somebody someone you know knows somebody who has it. But it's
salt, water, exercise, and
fluid, salt, exercise, compression. Yeah.
The compression. There we go.
Yes.
Okay.
I like to add, this is like my own little pitch is that like breathing. So breath work, meditation, mindfulness, Tai Chi, all of that like vagus nerve training is also crucial to add to that too. So again, like non-drugs ways that we can treat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. This is definitely my career and passion. And
I was like, I can speak to this, but I know somebody who can speak to this a lot better than I can.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that like you were going to talk about something medical. I told you my guess is at the beginning. And like one thing is migraines is on my list of possible topics, but like I haven't even gotten close to touching it yet just because it's like I feel scared talking about something medical when I'm not a medical professional. Like I don't want to, like I do know a lot and I'm sure that it would be accurate, but it's like, I don't know. I just feel scared talking about it when it's not my profession. So I'm happy that you were here today because it is your profession. So
thank you. Well, and just remember that like, even if what you share and you say is not like from a textbook in a peer-reviewed journal, it's true. It's what you experience, and that's fair. What your journey is like, and people resonate with other people going through struggles like that, and it's comforting to know that others are going through it too. So I would encourage you to share your story. Thank you guys for having me. I love that I get to be like the first guest.
Yeah.
First guest.
Yay.
And this goes out to, any other friends and family members. If you want to have a guest spot with us, just let us know. We want to hear what you guys are, hyperfixated on as well. It's interesting.
Yep.
Bring it on. It's fun.
It is.
I loved it.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being our first guest. That's it for this week's Rabbit Hole. I guess I should give a clue for next week. My clue is that it has to do with music, which is why I skipped it the other week. Katie has no idea what we're talking about right now, but
I'm a follower. I listen.
I know, but these episodes haven't come out yet that we're talking about.
Oh,
we're ahead.
Okay,
we're
cool.
ahead of schedule.
I'll be surprised.
We're ahead.
So it has to do with music. So that's my clue. But let us know, everybody, what you're hyperfixated on. Let us know in the comments. Send us a DM or an email, and maybe your obsession will make it into a future episode. But until then, embrace the spiral, stay curious, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
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 It's hyperfixation time.